Revelation 14. Revelation 14, verse 1. And I looked, and lo, a Lamb stood on the Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads. I looked, and lo, a Lamb stood on the Mount Zion. John looked and saw. The Lamb is Yeshua, whose Father is God. Previously, Yeshua was in the clouds at the sixth seal to redeem his body. Now, during the seventh seal, more specifically after the seventh trumpet, and before the first bowl of God's wrath is poured out, Yeshua stands on the earth at Mount Zion. Mount Zion, both Mount Zion and the Temple Mount are in Jerusalem. Mount Zion's location is the next mount south-southwest of where the first temple was. Mount of Zion was also known as the City of David. When Solomon built the temple, he brought the Ark of Covenant of Yahweh out of Zion and moved it to the Temple Mount, Mount Moriah. With him 144,000, having his Father's name written in their foreheads. It is clear by this statement that these are the same 144,000 that were sealed at the start of the seventh seal. They will have Yeshua's Father's name written on their foreheads, as they belong to him. Their assignment after 3.5 years will have been complete. Side note, 14 unique ways to identify the 144000. Number 1. They have been sealed by an angel of God. Number 2. The seal is the name of Yeshua's Father written on their forehead. Number 3. These are men who have not been defiled with women, for they are virgins. Number 4. They follow and obey Yeshua. Number 5. In their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. Number 6. They are specifically those of the tribes of Israel. Number 7. All the tribes of Israel except Dan. For the tribe of Manasseh, Joseph's firstborn son, is a substitute for Dan, possibly because Dan is either not ready or was rejected. It could be that Dan had not repented for following idols for most of their lives, or for betraying Israel. Number 8. 12,000 of each tribe are sealed. Number 9. This takes place no other time in history than just before the 7-year world tribulation period. This is after the sixth seal and before the seventh seal. Number 10. These are known in Revelation 12 as the woman, the plan of God, through Israel. Number 11. They testify of Yeshua to the world for the March 1.5 years. Number 12. They are continually being pursued by the serpent Satan, but they are protected by the 2 witnesses and by the earth. Number 13. At the end of the 3.5 years, they meet Yeshua on Mount Zion. Number 14. They are taken to heaven, in other words, redeemed from the earth, and sing before the throne of God a song that no human can learn that song. Revelation 14, verse 2. And I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. And I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. I heard a voice from heaven, as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder. John was on the earth and heard a voice from heaven. The voice of many waters could be of Yeshua or multitude of believers. I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. The harpers are most likely the 24 elders who had harps earlier, or a distinct group called harpers. Revelation 14, verse 3. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne, and before the 4 beasts and the elders. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000, which were redeemed from the earth. They sung as it were a new song before the throne. And no man could learn. The 144,000 sung a new song before the throne is in celebration to God for what has happened and what is about to happen. Previously, a new song was sung by the 4 beasts and the 24 elders after the Lamb was slain. Now, just after the 1,260 days, and before the bowls of God's wrath are poured out, the 144,000 sing a new song no person can learn. Were redeemed from the earth. 144,000 are bought, purchased away from the earth, like purchasing valuables from a market. They are no longer on earth. Redeemed from the earth, similar to other believers. They follow the Lamb wherever he goes, and we know that Yeshua does not stay on earth, as 3.5 years later comes from heaven riding a white horse. Therefore, They too are in heaven and not on earth during the bowls of God's wrath. Side note, the 144,000 rise to heaven just after the 3.5 years after the two witnesses rise to heaven. Revelation 14 verse 4. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the firstfruits unto God and to the Lamb. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These 144,000 Israelites are those who were sealed earlier by God on their foreheads. They are also men who have not defiled, not become stained, with women outside of marriage, as sexual relations in marriage is not sinful but honorable. Then John adds that they are not married by stating, for they are virgins. Possibly this is a choice they made to be celibate. The word virgins, in a literal and figurative sense, can apply to both unmarried women and men. However, based on the context not defiled with women, it refers to all these men. Follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These are Israelites who believe Yeshua and thus follow him, present active tense, in heaven like sheep, for he is their shepherd. Redeemed among men, the firstfruits unto God and to the Lamb. They will be purchased from the earth, away from mankind. These are the first fruit of those during the first 3.5 years. The remaining fruit from this first 3.5 year period will also be raptured. Side note, the two witnesses were raised to life and ascended to heaven earlier, just before the seventh trumpet. Revelation 14 verse 5. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. In their mouth was found no guile. The Greek word for guile means deceit, specifically related to deceit for self-gain. The 144,000 sealed Israelites have no deceit for self-gain in their mouth. Yeshua is their example of having no guile in his mouth. They are without fault before the throne of God. The Greek word for without fault is also translated without blame. This does not mean they are without sin, for all have sinned, but that their sin has been washed away. This is what the blood of Yeshua does. Washes away sin, and therefore they are without blame before the throne of God.